Hello, everybody. Dave here. Let me talk to you for a moment about the United States of America, home of the brave, land of the free. How brave are you? How free are you, really? What's become of this nation, this country, that our forefathers fought so hard and died for? What freedoms do you really have? You live in fear. It doesn't matter what state you live in. It doesn't matter what state. You live in the United States of fear. You fear our government. You fear the IRS, that if you don't pay your taxes, that they're going to put you in prison, and they will. Did you know that there's not a law in the book that says you have to pay income tax? It's a voluntary tax. Yet, if you don't pay it, you will. You will be put in prison. So you need to fear that. Did you know that when you're born, your birth certificate, do you know that you're not free? And you haven't been. You haven't been for a long time. Did you know that you're sold on the stock exchange? What's happened to this country? We live in fear of the people that we employ. Here's an example. You're riding down the road and you're obeying all the traffic laws, obeying the speed limit. You look in your rearview mirror, and there behind you, the person you employ to protect and serve you, there he is, a police officer. He's not pulling you over. He doesn't have his lights on and sirens aren't blaring. Do you feel safe, or does your heart start to race? The palms of your hands start to sweat. You start to shake. Do you look at the speedometer and make sure you're not going 1 mile over the speed limit? You're in fear of the very people that you put in office to serve you. Employees, your employees that you have elected to serve you. What's happening to this country? The country's broke. The dollar has no value. Was it Ron Paul, I believe? I just recently heard he kept going to Congress and wanting to see what really do we have over in Fort Knox to back this dollar up. It's a promissory note. Yet the Federal Reserve, you fear them? Well, you should. I mean, they're the ones that got us in this mess. Yeah, they just print it off and print it off and print it off, the big bankers. But you're asleep, And our government knows you're asleep. They planned it that way. Talk about other countries, the countries in the Middle East. We're in another war. Now we're in Libya. Now we're sending drones in. We're not making a lot of friends in the oil-rich countries. Saudi Arabia and China are working out a deal to where we're going to find it very difficult if we don't use our own resources for oil. Gas prices here where I'm at now are up over $4 a gallon. I promise you, mark my word, April 23rd, 2011, by summer, you'll be paying $6 or more for gas. Yet you're asleep. You're in front of your television set. You're watching the mainstream media news, and you're believing everything they tell you. You're going to let your kids go out and play in the rain after the disaster of Fukushima, the earthquake of Japan, and the tsunami, with 6 reactors now. And you believe everything you're told. You've been programmed. We talk about free staters and the Tea Parties. How prepared are you? We talk about New World Order. Most of you think it's a conspiracy theory. After you've heard Bush Sr., Bush Jr., you heard Obama, all talking New World Order, a one world government, which almost has to be. We're not the superpower that you think we are anymore. I was riding down the interstate, this was last summer, in 75 South by Metropolitan Airport. And the center medium where, a police officer, he'll sit there if he wants to, use his radar or in emergency you could pull off. Uh, they've got a nice steel barrier running all the way down I-75 South past Metro Airport to where there's no way you can come into the city or you can come out. It's where it looks like it's controlled to where you can't even turn around. FEMA camps. Conspiracy theory, all this Jesse Ventura, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I gotta keep an eye on the time. I don't want to run over. Um, and that's what the government has planned. That's what they want you to sleep. They want you to be like little sheep and just, you know, not see the bigger picture. What are they spraying in our skies with chemtrails? I mean, I know we can't afford now to travel, but you see chemtrails in other countries? Look at the Middle East. We'll talk about the Middle East real quick. All the uprisings and they're in a revolution. They're in a revolution, but they're not drugged. They're not heavily medicated. They're not zombified to just follow and be good little sheep. It's a different lifestyle there, and they finally had enough, and they're overturning the governments and the dictators. Um, are there chemtrails in the Middle East? The skies of China? What is that they're spraying and poisoning us? You know, um, how prepared are you to survive? I mean, we're so used to convenience. We get in our car, we drive, we don't walk. Um, can you live on the land? Could you survive in a disaster? If martial law came into effect, could you live on the land? You know, you need to be prepared. You need to stock up on food, stock up on water, because something big's coming. But you got to get over that fear. Fear belongs to the devil. The one person you should fear, you don't, and that's God. But you don't fear God. You only come to God when you need something quick, when you're afraid and you're begging for help. But you need to come to God. That's the one you need to fear. So much going on in the world. Would there be a revolution here? I don't know. I don't know if enough people are awake. So we just, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what a one world government, a new world order. Um, you don't even believe the FEMA camps are real. Um, all I can ask is do your research. Try to be awakened. Stop living in fear. This is your country. Your forefathers fought and died for it. We can make this the greatest country in the world once again. But we have to wake up. Fear God, not man. God bless everybody.